welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So this morning, I'm looking out the window. It is super overcast. It's supposed to be really stormy today. And I think it is the perfect day to make a slow cooker comfort food. The recipe that I'm going to make today is a creamy chicken and vegetable recipe, and then you make a cornbread topping that you put on it later on. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with all of you. Now this recipe is part of a collaboration. Yes, Miss Ava. This recipe is part of a collaboration organized by Jeni over at Jeni's Scratch Made Kitchen. And you can find a link to the playlist and get all of the information about this collaboration over on Jeni's channel. And I will put a link to all of those down in the video description. And at the end of this video, you'll be able to find a printable version of this recipe on my website, agoodlifefarm.com. And if you are brand new here, my name is Constance and I live in north central Alabama. We have a homestead here that we started about 6.5 years ago and planted roots here after 25 years of active duty Army life, living everywhere from Europe to Alaska and everywhere in between. We have 3 grown kids. We are empty nesters. We've got 1 grandbaby who makes an appearance now and again here on the channel. And I generally do about 3 videos every week on homesteading, home cooking, and back to basics, and occasional devotional style videos. So I am going to turn on some lights in here because it is really dark, and we will get started. Alright friends, so this recipe is super easy, and it is creamy and tasty, and you're just gonna love it. So to begin, I've got 3 good sized red potatoes, and I'm just gonna cut these into about 1-inch pieces. And I like to leave the skins on. You don't have to leave the skins on, but it's totally up to you. For thin skin potatoes like this, I just generally leave it on there. I just cut off the spots that were a little bit rough. Alright. Next I'm going to dice up 1 onion. This is kind of a smallish onion. You're going to need about a cup of diced onion. Although I'll tell you, I never really measure my onion. I just always eyeball it. And I save these peels. They go into my container or freezer bag in the freezer for the next time that I make broth. Alright, we're going to toss those in. Okay, next I've got 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. You could also use chicken thighs if that's what you've got on hand. And I'm just going to cube the chicken and toss that into the slow cooker as well. Alright, now I'm going to add in about 2 cloves of minced garlic. You can mince it yourself, but I just use the pre-minced kind because it just makes my life easier. Put that in there. Now we're going to add in a little bit of salt and pepper. About a half a teaspoon or so of each. I'm going to add in a half a teaspoon of basil, half a teaspoon of thyme, I'm going to add a tiny little bit of turmeric, maybe a 1/16 or to an 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm going to add in a 1.5 cups of chicken broth. And I'm adding in 2 cups of frozen mixed vegetables. Give this all a stir. This is going to be really full. You could use a larger slow cooker if you need to, or you could actually mix this all together ahead of time before putting it in there. But we'll give this a stir a couple of times while it's cooking. Alright, now the last thing I'm going to add in here is a little bit of rosemary, and I'm going to go out to the front garden and snip a little sprig off, but it has started to rain. Alright, now this is going to cook on low for about 5 to 6 hours. I will give it a stir periodically while it is cooking. That way we can make sure all of the herbs and spices and everything is all mixed together. And then later this afternoon I'm going to make a batch of my skillet cornbread because we're going to crumble cornbread on top of this when we serve it. Alright friends, so this has been cooking all day and I have one more ingredient that I'm going to put into my slow cooker mixture, and that is some mascarpone cheese. Now mascarpone cheese is very similar to cream cheese, but it's more creamy and less tang. There's not a lot of that tanginess that you get in regular cream cheese. But if you cannot find mascarpone cheese, you could use cream cheese as a substitute. I've got my carton here is an 8-ounce carton, and I'm just going to put about half of it into this. We're just going to kind of break it up a little bit and let it get down in there and just kind of stir it in, and then we'll just kind of let this sit for a couple minutes because you're going to have these chunks of the cheese, and you want them to melt. So we're just going to stir it in, and then we'll just let it sit for a few more minutes. And if I happen to see my rosemary stem, I'll go ahead and pull it out at this point. Otherwise, somebody will be the lucky winner when they find it in their bowl. Alright friends, there you go. That is how you make my country style chicken casserole. And I have a baby waking up. Somebody woke up from her nap and she's got some crazy hair going on there, don't ya? Yeah. So as I was saying, that is how you make my country style chicken casserole in a slow cooker. If you would like to make this recipe, you can get a printable version of it on my website, agoodlifefarm.com, where you can find over 700 recipes and lots of articles for you to browse through. Don't forget to sign up for my free email newsletter so that you don't miss anything that happens here at the homestead. And thanks for joining me here again in the homestead kitchen. Be sure to check out the links below for the playlist of all of the Crocktober recipes, as well as the information about the giveaway and all of that. You can find a list of all of the participating channels in the video description. So that is it for today. My name is Constance, and this is Willow at A Good Life Farm, and we'll talk to y'all next time.